50% of Latinos in California voted against affirmative action and defeated Proposition 16 in California, which would have reinstated racial preferences, allowing universities and colleges and employers to use race as a criteria to decide who to hire and who to let into college and who to let have an education, who to let even get into high schools and even preschools. That's the state of the rest of America, where race is a criteria being used for everything, even a preschool. And that, of course, means that Asians lose out at every level of society. And so we have to thank the Latinos in California for deciding for themselves that they don't need to get like 10, 20 points added to their test scores whenever they take a test, or to have them put on the top of the pile when it comes to hiring. And I believe the Latinos are doing themselves a great service. They're doing good for themselves, because in the long run, when you lower the standards for an entire community and for an entire culture or a multicultural, then that community, well, they perform worse. They study less. They work less. They, they become less interested in excelling, because one, their bar is lower, and two, when they do succeed, the reward is less, because basically you've been given a booby prize. When you get accepted to UC Berkeley as a person of color, that, well, not UC Berkeley, if you get accepted, because UC Berkeley apparently does not use affirmative action because they can't. But if you get accepted to, NYU, New York University, and you're a person of color, that your achievement is not quite the same as an Asian who's been accepted at NYU. So there's less motivation. You want to be the best. And as a person of color, affirmative action has stolen that from you, because you are looked down upon, because people know that you got accepted under lower criteria. That's not to say that there aren't excellent top of the industry people of color, but they are marred by the smear of affirmative action on their names. And of course, the worst thing, of course, is just that the study habits of entire communities are hit by affirmative action, because generation after generation, people have to study less, work less in order to get into university and college. And so this is passed on and reproduced from person to person, peer to peer, generation to generation. It's terrible. It's had a terrible long-term effect, especially on African Americans, I believe, because they have been here consistently for the entirety of the life of affirmative action. Of course, affirmative action was quite useful in the beginning because of the long spell of Jim Crow and terrible, deadly discrimination against African Americans. And it was useful in the sense that it kickstarted more equal hiring practices. But now affirmative action is all about instituting unfair hiring practices that actually damage the communities that they purport to want to support. So, viva los Latinos in California. Que viva Cesar Chavez. I'm a full supporter of the United Farm Workers. I'm a full supporter of the rights of workers all over the world. And I used to consider myself a democratic socialist, but some of the policies that they now support are insane. Let me just throw in defund police, which apparently Joe Biden has said is just plain stupid, which makes him a pretty smart man. And I'm glad that he's been elected to try to convince the rest of these leftists of some of their stupid policies, including affirmative action. Good luck.